Hello, guys. Welcome to Workouts for Older Men Live. This is the Motivation Edition. Motivation for Older Men Live. I am Skip LaCour. So you're used to seeing me in the gym, right, doing the working out, and then coming to you with a message. What I've been doing, and a lot of guys have been responding well, is coming in the evening, doing the night shift. Focusing more on the mental aspect of this journey. All right, many of the men a little bit older, and they want to take their fitness to the next level. They got this big picture on how it fits into their entire life, and that's what attracts them to this message. This way, I'm presenting it to you. So this is the Motivation for Older Men Live edition. Hey, post your comments, your questions, your suggestions down below. This, unlike when I'm in the gym, and I got a lot of things going on, I'm huffing and puffing because I got to lift impressive weights. I got to show you the muscle. I got to show you the exercise execution, right? So I got a lot of things going on, from the camera setup to making sure that I've got the sound on, that's the right angle. But I also got to lift the weight, right, to do the opening scene to attract your attention. Right, that's what I've learned. That's what gets the views, right? And then you come in there for my message. So there are a lot of things going on. I'm backed up against a deadline. Many times you see me kind of speed up the end of the Workouts for Older Men Live broadcast. And you see people in the background because they let them in early, and I got to get out of there. I got to pack it all up. So I don't have time all the time to acknowledge you for being here to answer your questions. But during the night shift here, Motivation for Older Men Live, I can acknowledge every one of you, answer all your questions. And who will ask the question today? That will be the marquee draw of this broadcast. So when I'm done, I'll say, well, I've got to highlight it. Hey, why would they want to listen to this? See, I don't know what questions you're going to ask. I don't know where this will go. You're going to determine that. I don't know how brilliant I'll be. It's really going to depend on you and me, right? Who's going to ask the marquee question? So when this is done, it'll be your question that was asked, right? So again, this is our time to connect. I'm so glad you are here. Post your questions, your comments, suggestions. Tell me where you're from. I'm going to start acknowledging, but tell me which questions you want me to answer. Hello, Kevin. Good to have you here. Hello, Marcos. Robert, hello. Umair, I am such a hard worker. Well, thank you so much. This isn't work, man. I got to tell you, I may get up at 3 o'clock in the morning or so, writing scripts, maybe doing my cardio, working out. I may, like I said, lift weights, produce the show in the morning on a consistent basis, Workouts for Older Men Live, pack it up, create the thumbnail, the images, get it on all my social media platforms. Right, all day long I'm talking to you, my one-on-one coaching clients, and a lot of times I'm just talking to older men, just studying my craft, right? Knowing, I've been doing this for 30 years. A lot of things I may take for granted. I want to know what you are getting out of these live broadcasts, because I want to deliver more to serve you, not just tell you what I know. All right, that's what I did today. I talked with, I'm curious if anybody who I talked to on the phone, or you came home, or maybe you're working today and you got a message from me on your answer machine, just checking in with you. Maybe we talked before. I take really copious notes when I've talked to you older guys, right? It's my special group of older men. Click that link that I posted down below. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, go down. I know you just see the video. Go down and see this description that I wrote to accompany this video, and always do that on my YouTube channel, because there are links there, other resources there. But click that link below. Sign up for my special tips for older men, where all this stuff I'm pumping out, from blog posts to videos, live videos, recorded videos, all right, training routines, whatever it is, I can direct your attention to them as I'm pumping them out. Just click that link. When you click that link, scroll down a little bit lower. Right? I've got a questionnaire. As your coach and as your friend, I ask you skilled questions to get you to think about what you want, that imagination, all right, of what you want from your training efforts, working out, exercise, whatever you call it, your eating habits, the lifestyle, but really the mindset too. Very skilled questions, helping men just like you for many, many years. want you to answer those questions, submit it to me. When you play all out, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, I've got conference lines set up all over the world, I'll reach out. Right? It's a win-win situation. I know that you're showing up because you're attracted to this message, you're getting value out of it. But I get to talk to you, not just assume I know what you need, right? Don't just assume, I won't just assume that I'm giving you the information that you need. I check in with you. All right, I made a lot of phone calls today. If I did call you or you got that message today, why don't you post it down below? It's real. All right, I'm studying my craft. You know, I became a 6-time national champion drug-free bodybuilder. If you just look over the internet or on my skiplacour.com website, you see all the articles, all right, all the journals, everything that's posted all over the internet. I studied my craft, and that's what I'm doing now, to be your coach and your friend, to help you become your best with your training habits, with your eating habits, with the fitness lifestyle, but more than that, to help you create the life that you really want as we go on this journey. All right, so I get that perspective by talking to you, right? I think the biggest thing that I got today from talking to men just like you, again, fill out that questionnaire, follow that link, play all out, and maybe you'll have the opportunity that we'll get to talk. And I'll always ask, tell me, what are you finding most valuable about the time that we spend together? And one thing that came up over and over again is you appreciated my enthusiasm, my passion, my energy. So, Omer, when you talk about I am such a hard worker, is this work? Is this work? This is fun. This is play. I get to do what I love to do and connect with you. I'll tell you, there's a lot more things in life that are harder than this, right? But I appreciate that you're appreciating my effort. I really do. All right, let me make sure I say hello. And again, who's going to ask the marquee question that's going to go on the top of this video when I'm done? The question that, hey, I got to watch. Somebody asked that question. He's got an answer for that. I want to watch this video because that question is going to be answered. Hello, Russ. Good to have you here. Rockin'. Hello. Patrick is from the Gold Coast, Australia. So this question, all right, so Josh asks, do I recommend counting macros? Okay, so I want to put that in context. Compared to what? Not counting macros, or am you comparing that to something else, right? So tell me, that means something to you. I don't want to assume that means something. I want to answer your question because I think it's a good question if you're coming from where I think you're coming from. All right, so the question is, do I recommend counting macros as opposed to what? Am I counting something else? Not counting them at all? Get clear on that question, all right, because I want to answer that specifically. I know it means something to you. It may mean something in your circles or whatever internet website with the young guys that you hang out with, right? But that can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. All right, so you ask, do I recommend counting macros? Counting macros or counting something else, or counting macros as opposed to not counting anything? All right, tell me what you mean by that. All right, good question though. Versus counting calories. All right, okay, now let me ask you versus clean eating for fat loss. All right, so that's a great question. And again, continue posting your questions or comments down below. All right, let me ask you this question, Josh, all right, since this is great, this is interactive, right? What is the difference to you, basically, from counting calories versus counting macros? Obviously, by you asking that question, there's a distinction, a difference between counting the two, right? One or the other, right? You're asking me that. I want to know what you see as the difference between counting those two. How is that different? How do you have a different outcome? How are those two different strategies of counting? I know one's counting calories and one's counting macros, but how do you see that as different from the outcome? The result, right? We do everything, whether we're counting calories or we're counting macros. We're doing it for an outcome, right? To be healthy, fit, muscular, preserve our muscle mass, build muscle mass, to get lean, right? So what would be a different outcome if I counted calories versus macros? And do you think is one in your mind supposed to be better than the other? All right, how is the outcome different? Because it's just a process, right? It's just a process. We go through a process of counting or not counting, this or that, because we want a result, right? We're not married to a process. We take what we think is the most effective and efficient process to get a result, right? So let's think about it. This is the stuff that you don't get from those younger, passionate fitness experts, right, who just take a stand, right, and say this is the right way, and you're a bro if you do it this way, or whatever it is they say. All right, so I want to see what you see as this big difference between the two. If that makes sense to you. Hello, Mohammed. Let's see. Hello, Kevin. Robert from Arkansas. Josh is from Wilson, North Carolina. Omer says, your shoulder muscles are mind-blowing. Well, thank you. Mind-blowing, huh? Well, I appreciate that. All right. Mark, hello. Umar is laughing. Not sure what I did there. But I'm glad I can entertain you as well as hopefully inspire you and educate you, go on the journey with you. David, hello. Robert, Andrew. All right. Marcos, Kevin, Robert, Umair. Pete, hello. Mark is here. Umair. All right. Let's see if Josh kind of... All right. So Patrick says, what's your overall nutritional philosophy? Could you recommend a great test booster? I can't recommend a great test booster. All right. So I can tell you that. All right. What's my overall general philosophy? If I wanted to make it simple, calories ingested versus calories burned, all right, is my overall nutritional philosophy. Is that too general, Patrick? Hopefully, is that helpful? So, all right. So Josh's question: I think body composition macros is looked at for maintaining muscle mass. In your opinion, is it better to go after macro calories or just eat as clean as possible and keep the protein up? All right. All right, so this is the way that I look at it right now. As far as, when it comes to your nutritional plan, and that goes back to Patrick's question, it's going to come down to calories ingested versus calories burned. You can't be in too much of a deficit if you're trying to build muscle, right? You got to have the right macronutrient combination, right? Enough protein, carbohydrates, and fats to be healthy, to be fit, to build muscle, right? And whatever food you eat, right, it's all going to fit in an umbrella of calories, right? So there's a total amount of food that you're going to eat. Let's just start with there. It's a total amount of calories. Now, whether you count the calories, okay, or you count the macros, it's just like one step different than the arithmetic, right? So if you're just counting macros, if you were to multiply whatever protein your macro is that you're counting, right, all day long, all right, I got to eat this much protein. If you were to multiply your protein by 4, you were to multiply the carbohydrates, your macros for the day, times 4, and you were to multiply the fat by 9. It's just one step before counting your calories anyway. Am I right? All right. So whatever food you're going to eat, whether or not you take it one step further, you're eating You're going to eat a certain amount of calories. All right. So whether you're indirectly counting your calories, even if you count macros. So, but here's the question. Here's the question: is the macronutrient? Is there a perfect combination to build muscle, to lose body fat? Right? Do you have to have this? Is there a direct amount and percentage that if you don't do this, you're not going to maximize your muscle building or fat loss? All right. And my belief is that the biggest overriding principle is got to get enough food, enough calories. Now, with a typical diet, again, you can break it down. I mean, you need so much protein, so many carbs, and so many fats. Now, so my question would be: let's just say, all right, don't pin me down on these macronutrient percentages, right? So let's just say you're old school and you take the calories, and then you say 40% protein, 40% carbohydrates, right? 20% fat. And I'm not recommending that, and I'm not saying that's ideal for muscle maintenance, fat loss. I'm not saying that, all right? I'm just saying, so you divide that out, and that'll tell you your macros for the day. So if you don't want to count calories, you can just count macros, right? Because back to the old school way of counting calories, all right, they are counting macros because they didn't just eat, it wasn't just based on calories, right? Maybe the end result, how they talked about were calories, but they knew, old school, that it had to be, let's just say again, don't pin me down, 40, 40, 20. They didn't just arbitrarily just eat whatever 3,000 calories. They did know the macronutrient breakdown. Whether or not they excluded the calories and just concentrated on the number of grams of macronutrients, it's the same thing, right? So the question would be 40, 40, 20. What about 30, 40, 30? What about, 42, right? In the big scheme, right, does that really matter? You're going to have one body. Hey, you had 5 percentage points or whatever point of your total calories less of protein versus the other guy. Are you going to have two totally different bodies? One's just ripped, shredded, right? Because he got those percentages of macronutrients exactly right, where the other one was off 5 or 7%. See, that's the thing about this extreme fitness world that we live in, right? If you really think that's a controlled study, that little bit makes that much of a difference, see, that's the rabbit hole. That's the rabbit hole that the extreme fitness experts go to. And I'll tell you something, that's a question that you think is of the utmost importance of where you are, I would say that is awesome. You go for it. You go down that rabbit hole. Man, you slice and dice every single detail. If you think it hinges on that, have at it. All right? Look, I've been around. I've done every single diet, every single way. And the men who I specialize with, one thing I focus in on is the 80-20 rule, right? There's 20 things. There's all these 100 things from macros or calories or this routine or that routine or whatever. You could just go down the rabbit hole forever with the dedicated fitness experts, right? It's fun. It's fascinating, right, to go down that hole, right? That 1% difference, right? And I get it. If that's your thing, awesome. You want to debate that? You want to have 3-hour roundtable sessions on protein synthesis? Have at it, right? The men who I work with, who have a life like mine, we want to look great. We're a little bit older. We have busy, productive lives. We understand that those type of things are outside of the 20 things that really matter. And we double down, we triple down, we put the vast majority of willpower, focus, energy, and time into the strategies that matter. That's why they come to me for coaching, is to figure out what the young guys are all talking about and having their little debates, bro versus science, and you're bad and I'm good and I'm smart, you're stupid, whatever on the internet, right? See, I deal with the men who keep this in context, keep it simple and effective. It's not that they're lazy. They're effective and efficient with their time. They want to conserve some of that willpower, focus, energy of time, not to sit in on a 3-hour podcast on protein synthesis. What do you think? This or that? And then they move on. They save it for their life, their family, their legacy. All right? So, man, I got, guys, it doesn't matter what age. They go round and round, they're talking about nutrient timing, 3-hour window, 3 meals, this and that, before, after, separate cardio, before and after 10 hours. Have at it, have a ball, right? Let me just tell you, I did all that. I know its impact. I was a 6-time national champion. I can tell you this, right? I've whittled down to the things that really matter. That's who I coach. Men don't have time for all that. And the ones who do, it's not sustainable because they don't live the life of that young fitness expert. They don't have time to be debating that. And if they overwhelm themselves, they can't get going because they don't know the things that are important, which ones aren't. I coach them and guide them with what they know, and we whittle that down so they put their effort on the things that really matter. Things that really matter. Let's see here. Patrick said, what's your overall? Let's see. Robert, hello. Can you add muscle and size as well as cut for shape? It really depends on where you are in the process, what you've done up to this point. Obviously, the more time that you've been training, the more muscle, right, and the less body fat you have, right, it becomes more of a challenge. But let's just say, and again, I don't talk to 22-year-olds who all they think about is training, right? All right. I can't save the entire world. I focus all my attention to older guys with busy productive lives. I don't cloud their mindset. They don't got time for all this. They got kids. They got to look in their eyes. They got business. They're leaders, right? They don't have time for all that debate like the young guys. So I don't even include those debates in who I talk to, because they can just go all over the internet and get confused. All right, so like if a guy wants to talk all about that, I don't mix my message, if that makes sense. Right? I keep it simple and effective. And you know what Umair says, I'm the hardest worker. See, as I become effective and efficient, and I teach my older guys who don't have time for all this BS, right? They got bigger things, and they want to look great. Right? I don't cloud their mind with things that don't matter. Actually, I spend a lot of time clearing that up. I help them whittle down the 20 things that really matter. I'm telling you this, look, I don't claim that I can win another national championship, drug-free bodybuilding championship right now at 56 years old, but I'm very happy with the way that I look at 56. And I'll tell you, compared to, let's just say it was a 10 out of 10 by comparison effort of what it took for me to be a champion, learning the 20 things, so to speak, that really matter out of the 100, this is like a 3.5 to look this way. I'm very satisfied, and leaves me plenty of focus to come to you a couple times a day. And like Umair said, right, I don't think for a second someone would say I'm lazy. Oh, you're just looking for the lazy way out. I don't think too many people would say that. What I don't have to put into my physical body and still look this good at 56, and that's why men clamor to me. They want to know. They want to hear it from somebody who's their age, who's done it before, who's done it this way, who can explain it to them from our perspective, right? That gives me more time to come to you, right, and think out workouts for older men live. All right, I can plan it, right? I can plan it. I can think of it. I can think of what I can say, write some scripts. I can do all the work. I can come to you twice because I saved all that with effective and efficient systems that the younger guys are blowing it all just to have that body. I can look this good and save all it so I can give it back to you. And I can give it to my kids. And I can give it to my wife and the bigger plan. See, the guys who I work with, the men who I work with, that's what they're looking for. They've looked all over the internet, all the crazy passionate. And I like to say, and trust me, I know it's like I did that. I wanted to do everything to be the best. Right? So if the things that my forefathers told me to do, train hard, eat right, rub a lucky rabbit's foot before you go to the gym and after you go to the gym, I said, what? Hey, I want to be the best. So I trained hard, I ate right, I rubbed the lucky rabbit's foot before I went to the gym and after I went to the gym. Right? But after, right, I started saying, well, I got to build upon my life more than this bodybuilding thing. What can I do? I know that worked. And I had to take the risk. What can I do? So got rid of maybe the rabbit's foot afterwards. I said, hey, I still look good, right? What if I forgot about doing the rubbing the lucky rabbit's foot before? And I started realizing, whittling down the things that really matter. And I'll tell you, the science guys, the young science guys who don't have the body to gain your respect just by looking at them, or they don't have the trophies, but they're smart young guys, they told all the older guys that stuff doesn't matter. But for a couple reasons, 3 reasons they weren't heard by the older guys. Well, probably more reasons. Let's just think of 4, all right? Number 1 is they came from a very immature perspective. I don't think the intention was really to persuade older guys who did it the old way to become more effective and efficient. Their goal wasn't really to help them. I think they came from a young way, like, my way is better than your way. Pfft, you're dumb. You're a dinosaur. You're a bro. Right? So that's not influential. That doesn't work anywhere in life. So their message wasn't heard. It was actually resisted. That's number 1. Number 2 is, look, the way a person looks. You got to walk your talk. All right? Let's face it, in life, looks are influential. All right, and a lot of these science guys, they didn't put the work in, they didn't have the years in, they didn't have the body, they didn't have the trophy. That doesn't mean what they're saying wasn't of value, because I'm telling you it was. All right, but that with their style and approach, and they didn't have the years of training, they didn't have the body, they didn't have the trophies, and they were trying to tell people who are much more advanced than them, looking that way, something that maybe they could have done a better job explaining. All right, and probably the other thing too is that, when you do something and it works well for you, and then you have someone under those conditions telling you you're not so willing to just, hey, okay. See, I was in a different position because I had to expand. I experiment. I talked to the guys. I used my influence. Talked to guys 20, 21 years old. I saw what they were saying, and I learned from them. I humbled myself to learn from them. And so now I'm bringing it all into this old school way and explaining it my way, our way, to our older guys. Right? So that's this whole evolution of this 80-20 rule and how I apply it to help older men with busy, productive lives have an amazing physique. All right? And still keep their focus and attention. Conserve some of that willpower, focus, energy, time. Again, not to be lazy, but to become effective and efficient so they can look great. Again, here I am at 56 years old, loving every minute of it, actually building momentum, loving it even more, and having some left in my tank so I can look into my children's eyes. I can think about their future. I can give them some of this motivation, right? And do some of the things that I didn't when I was that extreme bodybuilder. Focus on business and my legacy. Right? We only have so much willpower, focus, energy, and time. If you want to use it going down a rabbit hole of fitness information, like I said, have at it. That is fun, but that isn't the kind of men who come to me, and that isn't how I direct my message to the men who I serve. You can't serve everybody. There's plenty of 25-year-olds giving 25-year-olds other fitness information. That's not me. Again, I work with more mature men with a bigger picture in life, right? And I direct my information, my stories, my metaphors, my analogies, my epiphanies, all right? It's all directed at we older men. There's nothing clouding. I don't talk about certain things. So the men, they've found their home in me. It's very unique on the internet, all right? You get the new school evidence-based way of thinking along with the hardcore passionate approach that's effective and efficient, and it's explained to you by a guy your age who understands your lifestyle. Hello, Ralph. Good to have you here. Hello, Michael. Good to have you here. Uli. Hello from New York. Great to have you here. Patrick. Who inspires you today in regards to other legit coaches? I'm inspired by for a lot of different reasons. Some have an amazing charismatic personalities that their message gets heard. I think that if you can have the greatest, there's a lot of fitness experts out there. They've got great messages, but they're not heard, right? So anyone who can get their message across, that can grab attention and cut through all of this, they have my respect. Those first and foremost. I don't care if they're younger or older. I don't care if they have a million tattoos. I don't care if they live a totally different life than me. Attention is the greatest commodity we have. You're getting hit from all these different angles, right? If they have a charismatic, influential personality, I want to know what they're doing because I've done my work. I got it in my head. I got it in my heart. I got it in my gut. I'm still training hard to show you this way. I've got years to explain. I got the mental, emotional aspects of personal development. All right. So I'm respecting those guys that know how to present. I want to learn from them first and foremost. All right? Getting a little excited here. Great questions, Patrick. Josh says, I agree. I think at times the process of tracking becomes more stressful. This eventually leads to just constantly questioning if you are following the right process. That's a great question. I don't care what, and so Josh, it's a follow-up to counting calories versus counting macros. I don't care what, and this is true in anywhere of life, there are benefits to everything you do, and there are consequences or things that aren't so beneficial. There's a pro and con to everything you do. And again, it's just the process is one that works for you. You take, if you have a process that you totally believe in and you don't care about the downside, then that's a great one for you as long as you get your results. I think a lot of younger guys, especially when it comes to this bodybuilding and training, because I emphasize this all the time. I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you've been doing this. I don't care what your physique looks like. We all look in the mirror and say, man, I wonder if I can be getting more muscle, faster fat loss for the amount of effort that I'm putting in. Many times, and this is true in life, we think we're putting in a lot more than we're getting back. And so we'll always question, am I doing the right process? Is this the right training strategy? Is this the right eating strategy? And many times we'll look back and say, what was I complaining about? I looked awesome back then. But sometimes, some people have more of a grind, understanding that they're winning when they're winning than other people. And that's what I love about my coaching, because I give them the certainty and confidence in what they're doing. They get a trusted source who kind of goes through this process for them. So really, they just put their mind, their heart, their gut, their effort in what they're doing. There's less time worrying about it and wondering if you're going the right way down the highway, so to speak. And so, like it's interesting, back in the day when there was this debate counting calories versus counting macros, which again, it's the process that it's all ending towards the same thing. Making one group is assuming the other group isn't that smart to figure out all of it, both sides. And the other one doesn't think, well, you're not understanding what's important, right? Results or anything, both of those paths obviously can do it. Again, sometimes, tracking the calories, and that gets thrown into you're eating all the same foods and things like that. And that can lead, they're amateur psychologists thinking eating such a strict diet can lead to mental disorders or whatever they say, or it's because of a mental disorder. Like eating the same foods is any different than, I've got 5 grams of fat to eat today, I can do this, like tracking that all day long. Let's face it, I don't get counting calories or counting macros. Both of them are kind of weird in their own way, and not that's a bad thing. If you want to look like in the top 5%, you look around the physical bodies, it's going to take tracking, it's going to take monitoring, whether you're tracking your calories or you're counting your macros. But this civil war, we're all bros, well, however you describe it, we're all in this fitness thing. It's just this civil war bickering amongst themselves. Now, again, this whole topic, I wouldn't even waste my time talking to my older men with busy, productive lives. They see all this and they're thinking, what's going on? But I will mention it here because not only is it a great question, some of my older guys who haven't found, they haven't found my channel yet. They haven't found my style yet. All right, I plan, anyway, I've got a lot of great stuff for you, right? So they're hearing all this stuff, this 25-year-old feud stuff, and they don't know what to make out of it. So that's a great question. Probably not very many times I'm going to talk about process. I talk about results, right? Most of the guys who I deal with, they're results oriented for those reasons. So Josh says, Skip, I appreciate your videos you put out and the phone calls for someone your caliber. It's really cool to have ton of respect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Again, though, regardless of what my body was like in the past, if I earned a certain amount of respect for the physique and the conditioning I hear, but that was in the past. That was over 15 years ago, Josh. Man, you got to do your skills of who you are today and where you're going, right? And I got a lot of work to keep on doing, to keep on bringing this to you, right? God bless you, brother. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys appreciating me. All right. As you know, I can talk forever. So Josh wins. Josh wins the question of the day, the marquee question that's going to go as I post this video on Facebook and on YouTube. Which is better, counting your calories or counting your macros? All right, guys, have a great day. Have an outstanding day. Hey, make sure you join me in the gym tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I've got to think about this tonight, right? Come to you for the show tomorrow morning. Workouts for Older Men Live. Join me there. And I appreciate you guys. So have a great day. Have an outstanding day. Wherever you are in the world, have a great evening. Think big and think bigger than getting bigger. Oh, one other quick thing. Hey, make sure you click that link. You get on my special list. Who knows? I could be calling you.